VoyMonk here, doing a video voice vlog, and continue on a bit from what I was talking about yesterday about self-awareness, and of course my first experiences with doing radio, recording myself and hearing myself back. And I compared that a lot to what I think also exists as far as if you do TV, radio, even print, as far as, magazines, and of course, models or supermodels and things of that nature. And the thing is that, as I've mentioned before, as far as perception, which I think a lot of people know, is subjective. Beauty definitely is in the eye of the beholder. And obviously, I think there are certainly things that come as more common than not. I think there are divergence in things that happen as a result. One of the things I can honestly say for myself is that when I think about beauty, as far as physical beauty, most of what I'm thinking is usually attached to an emotion. It's usually attached to some way that I feel or some way that I've been meant to feel. And I'm speaking about myself. I think in general that goes as a rule. But for the most part, I can honestly say that while I believe it's certainly a bias, just like, someone who, maybe hears their voice for the first time, it's jarring to them. And then in the end, maybe the thing that can happen is someone can go the other end is in terms of not liking their voice or hating it or shunning it, is sometimes people fall in love with their own voice. They fall in love with their own image, or they adopt a certain egocentric view of who they are. But whatever it is, like I said, I believe that the blind spot exists no matter what. And like I said, that perspective, I think, is mostly about, our emotions and how we attach those to whatever it is that we're experiencing. I mentioned Tom Cruise, and he's certainly one of my favorite actors. Well, I should say I've liked a lot of his. I want to know if I say he's one of my favorite actors. I think he's a pretty good actor. Maybe one of my favorite actors. But be that not as, I like his movies. I like things that he's been a part of, and therefore, I guess in some way that's kind of made me drawn a little bit closer. I'm not particularly interested in his looks as far as, romantic or that kind of a sense or whatever. But the simple fact of the matter is what he looks like, who he is, and that kind of thing, I'm attached to him, I'm drawn to, because of an experience that I probably have had mostly with his profession. He's an actor, so roles that he's played and that kind of thing. And so I think if I were a female, or in fact, if a Tom Cruise was, say, a Catherine Zeta-Jones, who I was absolutely head over heels in love with in my teen years, I think for me, her aesthetics were probably more powerful than anything else. But the fact that she was a movie star and that enhanced that, it gave it kind of more of a scratch and sniff kind of attachment in my brain, right? That began to become something that I associated with her beauty. And of course, just like I mentioned yesterday in terms of Tom Cruise and his tooth, that, like I said, once I wasn't even thinking about it. Once a girl that I was going to school with, she had pointed it out. It was hard for me not to see it whenever, thinking about it or whatever. And, it's there. If you go see any photos of Tom Cruise, he's got a tooth that looks like it's red, it's dead in the center. And as far as looks go, it's kind of weird. But nevertheless, I think if you, guy or girl, especially if you're a girl and maybe you find him good looking or whatever and attracted him in that way, or whoever, right? I think that has a lot to do with things also. And I'll elaborate a little bit more as we round out towards the end of the week. But yeah, until next time.